matters not. Silence and sit down. All those over 70, put up your hands. 7 of you. Very good. It comes to me that you ancient ones will not be able to climb high trees in search of Gruntle's eggs.
We won't, your Grandness.
We won't.
You ancient ones have served me well over many years, and I do not wish to deny you the pleasure of bumping off a few thousand children each just because you have become old and feeble. I have therefore prepared personally with my own hands a limited quantity of delayed action mouse maker, which I will distribute to the ancient ones before you leave the hotel.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
You're far too good to you're great.
Here is a sample of what I am giving you. In this tiny bottle is 500 doses of mouse maker. Is enough to turn 500 children into mice. Each of you ancient ones will get 2 of these bottles.
Oh, thank you. Generous and thoughtful ones. Each of us will promise to squish and squallop and squiggle 1,000 children.
Good. Our meeting is over. Now we must go out on the sun terrace and have tea with that ridiculous manager. Next, at 6 o'clock tonight, those witches who are too old to climb trees after Gruntle's eggs will report to my room to receive 2 bottles each of mouse maker. My room number is 454. Then, at 8 o'clock, all of you will assemble in the dining room for supper. We are the lovely ladies of the RSPCC, and they are setting up 2 long tables specially for us. But do not forget to put the cotton plugs up your noses. That dining room will be full of filthy little children. Any questions?
What happens if one of the chocolates we're giving away in our shops gets eaten by a grown-up?
That's just too bad for the grown-up. This meeting is over. Out you go.
Wait! Hold everything.
What is it?
Dog droppings. Just then, I got a whiff of dog droppings.
Couldn't be.
Yes! There it is again. It's not strong, but it's definitely somewhere not too far away.
What's going on down there?
Mildred's just got a whiff of dog's droppings.
What rubbish this is. There are no children in this room.
Hang on, I'm getting it again. It's getting stronger. Can't the rest of you smell it?
Oh, she's right. She's absolutely right. Dog's droppings it is. Strong and
Find it! Track it down! Ruto it out! Follow your noses till you get it. It must be exterminated immediately!
There's no escape for me now. Even if I make a run for it and manage to dodge the lot of them, I still won't get out because the doors are chained and locked. I'm finished. I'm done for. Oh, Grandmama, what are they going to do to me now?
It's here. It's behind this screen.
Seize it and bring it up here to me!
Help! Help! Help!
Grab hold of it! Stop it yelling!
Help!
Bring the spying little worm up here to me. That's it. Hold him tight. Now for a little medicine. Hold his nose to make him open his mouth.
The Grand High Witch poured the entire contents of the little bottle of mouse maker down my throat. Oh, the pain and the fire! I screamed, but a gloved hand was clapped over my lips. The next thing I felt was my skin beginning to tighten. I felt as though I was a balloon and somebody was twisting the top of the balloon, and the balloon was getting smaller and smaller, and the skin was getting tighter and tighter, and soon it was going to burst. Then the squeezing began. This time I was in a suit of iron, and somebody was turning a screw, and I was squeezed like an orange into a pulpy mess with the juice running out of my sides. Then there came a fierce prickling sensation all over what was left of my skin, as though tiny needles were forcing their way out. The mouse fur was growing. Far away in the distance, I heard the Grand Witch yelling.
500 doses! This stinking little carbuncle has had 500 doses, and the alarm clock has been
not a boy any longer. I'm a mouse.
Now for the mouse trap.
I wasn't going to wait for that. I was off across the platform like a streak of lightning. I was a swift and silent mover. And quite amazingly, the pain had all gone now. I was feeling quite remarkably well.
It's not a bad thing, after all, to be tiny, as well as speedy when there's a bunch of dangerous females after your blood. Now, if I just squeeze up against this chair leg, maybe they won't find me.
Leave the little stinkpot alone. It's only a mouse now. Somebody else will soon catch it. The meeting is over. Unlock the doors and shove off to the Sunshine Terrace to have tea with that idiotic manager.
They've gone. Thank goodness for that. I wonder if Bruno is still around here. Bruno! That's marvellous. I can still talk in my human voice. Bruno Jenkins, where are you? If you can hear me, give a shout. I wonder where he is. It's not so bad being a mouse. I rather like it. What's so wonderful about being a little boy anyway? I know that mice get hunted and caught in traps sometimes, but little boys sometimes get run over by motor cars. Little boys have to go to school. Mice don't. Mice don't have to pass exams. Mice have only two enemies, humans and cats. My grandmother's a human, but I know for certain that she will always love me whoever I am. And she never keeps a cat. When mice grow up, they don't ever have to go to war and fight against other mice. I'm pretty sure all mice like each other. People don't. I don't think it's at all a bad thing to be a mouse. And there's a mouse nibbling a piece of bread. It must be Bruno. Hello, Bruno.
Hello.
What have you found?
One of them dropped it. It's a fish paste sandwich. Pretty good.
Listen, Bruno, now that we are both mice, I think we ought to start thinking a bit about the future.
What do you mean, we? The fact that you're a mouse has nothing to do with me.
But you're a mouse too, Bruno.
Don't be a fool, I'm not a mouse.
I have to inform you that not very long ago the witches turned you into a mouse. Then they did it to me.
You're lying. I'm not a mouse.
If you hadn't been so busy guzzling that sandwich, you would have noticed your hairy paws. Take a look at them.
Good grief! I am a mouse. You wait till my father hears about this.
He may think it's an improvement.
I don't want to be a mouse.
There are worse things than being a mouse. You can creep into the larder at night. You can stay there all night eating yourself silly. That's what mice do.
Now that is a thought. You say a witch did this to me. Which witch?
The one who gave you the chocolate bar yesterday.
The filthy old cow. I'll get her for this. Who is she?
Forget it. You don't have a hope. But how are your parents going to take this?
I think my father is going to be a bit put out.
And your mother?
She's terrified of mice.
Then you've got a problem, haven't you?
Why only me? What about you?
My grandmother will understand perfectly. She knows all about witches. I suggest that we go and consult her. She'll know exactly what to do. Now follow me. Don't talk and don't let anybody see you. Don't forget, just about anyone who catches sight of you will try to kill you.
We made our way to the 5th floor. It was quite a climb, but we met nobody because they were all using the lift. We came to the door of my grandmother's room.
Here we are. How do you know this is the right room? I can't see the number on the door from down here.
I recognise this pair of shoes.
What do we do now? We can't open the door.
Look out! Here comes the chambermaid. She doesn't approve of mice. Quick, hide in these shoes.
Oh dear, more shoes to be cleaned. Oh, I better pick them up, I suppose. Ow! Oh, there's something alive inside them. Ouch! It's bit me. Oh!
What on earth is going on out here?
Your shoe bit me!
Come on, Bruno. Get inside the room while the door is open.
I'm right behind you.
The girl is mad.
Close the door, Grandmama, quickly. That awful maid might come in.
Oh no. Oh, what has happened to you?
Don't cry, Grandmama.
Oh.
Things could be a lot worse. I did get away from them. I'm still alive. So is Bruno.
Oh, let me look at you both. I just pick you up and put you on the table. There.
Oh, great! A bowl of bananas. Yum, yum.
Oh, my poor sweet darling. What have they done to you?
I know what they've done, Grandmama, and I know what I am. But the funny thing is, I don't feel especially bad about it. In fact, I feel rather good. I'll be quite all right as long as there's always you to look after me.
Of course I'll look after you. Who's the other one?
That was a boy called Bruno Jenkins. They got him first.
Oh dear. I must have a cigar to calm me down. Oh, that's better. Now, where is the witch now? Is she in the hotel?
It wasn't just one. It was hundreds.
Oh,
They're right here in the hotel, this very moment.
you don't mean they're holding the annual meeting here?
They've held it, Grandmama. I heard it all of them, including the Grand Witch herself, are having tea with the manager.
Tell me everything, right from the beginning.
Well, I was looking for a place to do some mouse training. And the idea of the mouse maker formula is to turn all the children of England into mice and destroy them in traps.
I knew it. I knew they were brewing up something tremendous.
We've got to stop them.
You can't stop witches. Just look at the power that terrible Grand High Witch has in her eyes alone. You saw it yourself. Look what happened to you already.
And Bruno.
Yes, and Bruno. He doesn't seem very worried. He's on his second banana already. Does he never stop eating?
Never. Can you explain something to me, Grandmama?
I'll try, my darling.
The thing I don't understand is how Bruno and I are still able to talk and think just as we did before.
It's quite simple. All they've done is to shrink you and give you 4 legs and a furry coat. But they haven't been able to change you into 100% mouse. You are still yourself in everything except your appearance. You've still got your own mind and your own brain and your own voice, and thank goodness for that.
So I'm not really an ordinary mouse at all. I'm a sort of mouse person.
Quite right. You're a human in mouse's clothing.
Grandmama, I may have a bit of an idea.
Yes, my darling. What is it?
The Grand High Witch told them that her room was 454. Now my room is 554. Mine 554 is on the 5th floor, so hers 454 will be on the 4th floor.
That is correct.
Then don't you think that room 454 is directly underneath room 554?
It's bound to be. These modern hotels are built like boxes of bricks.
Would you please take me out onto my balcony so I can look down?
All the rooms in the Hotel Magnificent had small private balconies. My grandmother carried me through into my own bedroom and out onto my balcony. We both peered down to the balcony immediately below.
I'll bet I could climb down there somehow and get in.
And get caught all over again? I won't allow it.
All the witches are having tea with the manager. The Grand High Witch won't be back until 6 o'clock or just before. That's when she's going to dish out the supplies of that foul formula to the ancient ones, who are too old to climb the trees after the Gruntle's eggs.
And if you did manage to get into her room, what then?
I tried to steal 1 bottle of her delayed action mouse maker and bring it back here.
Could you carry it?
I think so. It's a very small bottle.
I'm frightened of that stuff. What would you do with it if you did manage to get it?
1 bottle is enough for 500 people. That would give each and every witch down there a double dose at least. We could turn them all into mice.
Oh, what an idea! It's fantastic! You're a genius, my darling.
Wouldn't that be something?
Well, that's her balcony down there. And what's more, the door from her balcony into her bedroom is wide open. How are you going to climb down?
I don't know. If I fell, I'd be a goner.
I've got it. Now, Where did I put it? Oh, yes, now here it is. The sock I've been knitting for you. It's half finished. If you get into the sock, I can lower you down on the ball of wool. But we must hurry. Any moment that monster will be returning to her room. There you are. In you go, into the sock.
I hope I can manage this. I'm only a little mouse.
Oh, you'll manage. Are you all right?
Yes, I can see through the stitches. It does look a long way down.
Good luck, my darling. Now, here we go. I'm starting to lower you now. That's it. No, don't look down, my darling. You're nearly there. Here we go. Gently does it. You're down. Now, hurry. Hurry. Search the room.
Pooh! This room stinks of the stench of witches. But it looks just like an ordinary room. What's that? Oh, it's just a frog hopping under the bed.
Hurry up. Grab this stuff and get out.
If the Grand High Witch wanted to hide something top secret, where would she put it? Somewhere unusual. What about under the mattress? If I push forward hard, I can squeeze myself underneath it. What's that? I can feel something hard inside the mattress above me. What is it? It feels like a little bottle. It is a bottle. And here's another, and another. The Grand High Witch must have slit open the mattress and put all the bottles inside and then sewn it up again. Thank goodness for a mouse's sharp teeth. I'll bite through the mattress cover and get hold of the bottle. That's it. I've done it. Now I'll roll it off the bed onto the carpet. There. Good job it didn't break. Now let's jump down and have a look at it. Ah, yes, it's identical to the one the Grand High Witch had in the ballroom. And it's got a label on it. Formula 86 Delayed Action Mouse Maker. This bottle contains 500 doses. Eureka! Hello. There's 3 more frogs looking at me. I bet they were children once. Who are you? There's the door. The Grand High Witch is coming back. I must hide. But where? Behind the bedpost, with the bottle, just in time.
So there you are, my little froggies. You can stay under the bed tonight. Then I shall throw you out of the window and the seagulls can have you for supper.
Hurry up, my darling. You'd better come out quickly.
Who is calling? Who is this looking down on my balcony? What is this knitting wool doing hanging down here?
Oh, hello. I just dropped my knitting over the balcony by mistake. But it's all right. I've got hold of one end of it.
Who were you talking to just now?
I was talking to my little grandson. He's been in the bathroom for hours, and it's time he came out. Do you have any children, my dear?
I do not.
Oh, cripes! She's come back in and slammed the balcony door. How shall I get out now?
What is it this time?
It is we, ancient ones. It is 6 o'clock, and we have come to collect the bottles that you promised us. Oh, your grandness.
Come in. Do not stand out there dithering in the corridor. I don't have all night.
Now's my chance.
I jumped out from behind the bedpost and ran like lightning towards the open door. In 3 seconds, I was out in the corridor, still clutching the precious bottle to my chest. I climbed to the 5th floor and ran along the corridor until I came to the door of my own bedroom. Thank goodness there was no one in sight. I tapped on the door with the bottle.
Grandmama, it's me. Let me in. I've done it. I've got it, Grandmama. Look, here it is. I've got a whole bottle of it.
Oh, my darling, you brilliant boy. You're a wonder. You're a marvel.
It was all a bit hairy. I wouldn't want to do it again.
Oh, my darling, I thought I'd never see you again. I'm so happy you got away. Let's go back into my room and think about what to do next. What time are those witches having supper in the dining room?
8 o'clock.
It is now 6:10. We've got until 8 o'clock to work out our next move. There, I'll put you down on the table, and I'll put this precious bottle by the fruit bowl. Hello? That's your friend Bruno. Are you still eating?
This is only my 4th banana.
That is quite enough. Out you come, out of that bowl. I think it's about time we returned you to the bosom of your family. I shall put you both in my handbag. Now keep quiet and stay out of sight. I shall leave the clasp undone. But if you must peep, don't show more than your nose.
Hey, give me the rest of that banana I was eating.
Oh, all right. Anything to keep you quiet.
We went down in the lift to the ground floor and made our way to the lounge. And there sat Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins in a couple of armchairs with a low, round, glass-covered table between them. Only my nose and eyes were above the clasp of my grandmother's handbag, but I had a super view.
Are you Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins?
Yes? What can I do for you, madam?
I'm afraid I have some rather alarming news for you. It's about your son, Bruno.
What about Bruno? What's the little blighter been up to now? Raiding the kitchen, I suppose?
It's a bit worse than that. Do you think we might go somewhere more private? Well, I'll tell you about it.
Private? Why do we have to be private?
It is not an easy thing to explain. I'd much rather we all went up to your room.
I don't want to go up to my room, madam. I'm quite comfortable here. Thank you very much. Kindly state your business and then leave us alone.
We really can't talk in here. There are too many people. This is a rather delicate and personal matter.
I'll talk where I dash well want to, madam. Come on, out with it. If Bruno has broken a window or smashed your spectacles, then I'll pay for the damage. But I'm not budging out of his seat. Where is Bruno, anyway? Tell him to come here and see me.
He's here already. He's in my handbag.
What the heck do you mean he's in your handbag?
Are you trying to be funny?
There's nothing funny about this. Your son has suffered a rather unfortunate mishap.
Oh, he's always suffering mishaps. He suffers from overeating and then he suffers from wind. Oh, you should hear him after supper. Sounds like a brass band. Where is the little beggar?
I've already told you. He's in my handbag.
The woman's mad. Tell her to go away.
The plain fact is that your son Bruno has been rather drastically altered.
Altered? What the devil do you mean, altered?
Go away. You're a silly old woman.
I am trying to tell you as gently as possibly that Bruno really is in my handbag. My own grandson actually saw them doing it to him.
Saw who doing what to him, for heaven's sake?
Saw the witches turning him into a mouse.
Call the manager, dear. Have this mad woman thrown out of the hotel.
Very well. I can't keep patient no longer. Here, it's your son. There. I'll put him on the table.
It's a mouse! Take it away! I can't stand the things!
It's Bruno!
You nasty, cheeky old woman! Get out of here! How dare you frighten my wife like that? Take your filthy mouth away this instant!
Well, I did my best.
My grandmother turned and sailed out of the room carrying Bruno with her. When we got back to her room, she took both me and Bruno out of her handbag and put us on the table.
Why on earth didn't you speak up and tell your father who you were, Bruno?
Because I had my mouth full.
Oh, what a very disagreeable little boy you are.
Not boy, mouse.
Quite right, my darling. But we don't have time to worry about him at this moment. We have plans to make. In about half an hour's time, all the witches will be going down to supper in the dining room, right?
Right.
And every one of them has to be given a dose of mouse maker. How on earth are we going to do that?
I think you're forgetting that a mouse can go places where human beings can't.
That's quite right, but even a mouse can't go creeping around on the tabletop carrying a bottle and sprinkling mouse maker all over the witch's roast beef without being spotted.
I wasn't thinking of doing it in the dining room.
Then where?
In the kitchen, while their food is being got ready.
Oh, my darling child. I do believe that turning you into a mouse has doubled your brain power. At 7:30, I shall go down to the dining room for supper with you in my handbag. I shall then release you under the table with the precious bottle, and from then on, you'll be on your own. You will have to work your way unseen across the dining room to the door that leads to the kitchen. And whatever happens, you mustn't let them catch you.
Soon it was 7:30, and my grandmother set off for the dining room with us mice in her handbag.
Good luck, my darling, and don't forget, you have a tail.
I must say, that never occurred to me. It is rather grand, isn't it?
I only mention it because it might come in useful when you're climbing about in the kitchen. You can curl it around, and you can hook it onto things, and you can swing from it and lower yourself to the ground from high places.
I wish I'd known this before. I could have practiced using it.
Too late now. We got to go.
When my grandmother was seated at her table in the dining room, she hid me under the napkin on her lap. Then she pretended to drop something. She bent down and slid me out from under the napkin onto the floor under the table.
Go, darling, go.
I ran. Oh, how I ran. I waited by the kitchen door until a waiter opened it, and I nipped in after him. Not far above my head, there was a handle sticking out of a garbage bin. Still clutching the bottle, I gave a leap, turned a somersault in the air, and caught hold of the handle with the end of my tail. It was terrific.
This is how a trapeze artist in the circus must feel as he goes swishing through the air, high up in the circus tent. Perhaps I shall become a circus mouse after all.
Then the waiter who was serving at the witch's table came into the kitchen.
All of the women in the big recipe ici, party want a soup.
Right you are. Put the soup for the big party in the large silver soup tureen.
So that's where the witch's soup is going to be put. So that is where the stuff in my little bottle must go as well. If only I could climb up onto the shelf, I would be directly above the silver basin. But how can I reach it? I know. If I swing backwards and forwards from my tail, if I swing high enough and then let go, I should fly through the air and land on the shelf. Here goes. Whee! I've made it! Now I can pour this mouse maker liquid straight into the silver basin below me.
Here we are. Pour all the soup into the silver basin. Now take it into the dining room and serve it.
I've done it! The witches are going to get the mouse maker, and I must get back to Grandmama's handbag.
Look, a mouse! A dirty little mouse! Take that!
Ah! He threw a carving knife at me, and he's cut my tail! I'm falling!
Hey, sleepers! He's gonna buy trousers! Oh, hey, hold on, boys! I'll get in this time! Oh, holy smoke! He's going all the way up! Oh, he's going right up my leg! Help! It's in my knickers! Somebody help me to get it out!
Take any trousers off, you silly slob. Put it on the pants and we soon get him.
Oh, there! No, get him out! Please, before he bites me!
There's no mice in there, you silly twerp.
There was! I swear there was!
But I'd escaped through the kitchen door and across the floor of the dining room to my grandmother's table. My tail was hurting terribly. I curled it round so as to look at it. About 2 inches of it were missing, and it was bleeding quite a lot. It was lovely to see my grandmother's feet again. I shinnied up one of her legs and landed in her lap.
Hello, Grandmama. I'm back. I did it. I poured it all into their soup.
Well done, you. Oh, but you're bleeding. What happened to you?
One of the cooks cut off my tail with a carving knife. It hurts like billy-o.
Oh, you poor little thing. I'm going to bandage it up with my handkerchief. That will stop the bleeding. There. Now, I'm going to pop you into my handbag on the empty chair beside me. Oh, you can peep out as long as you're careful not to be seen. Bruno is there as well, but take no notice of him. I gave him a roll to eat, and that's keeping him busy.
Look out, Grandmama. Here comes Bruno's father.
Where is that grandson of yours? My guess is that he and my son Bruno are up to some devilment. Bruno hasn't turned up for his supper, and it takes a lot to make that boy miss his food.
I must admit, he has a very healthy appetite.
My feeling is that you're in on this as well. You played a nasty trick on me and my wife this afternoon.
That was no trick. That mouse I tried to give you was your own little boy, Bruno. You'd refused to take him in.
What the blazes do you mean, madam? My son isn't a mouse. Where is he? Out with it.
Bruno is a mouse.
He most certainly is not a mouse.
Oh, yes, I am.
What?
Hello, Dad. Don't worry, it's not as bad as all that. Just so long as the cat doesn't get me.
Bruno!
No more school. No more homework. I shall live in the kitchen cupboard and feast on raisins and honey.
But Bruno, how did this happen?
Witches. The witches did it.
I can't have a mouse for a son.
Oh, you got one. Be nice to him, Mr. Jenkins.
Mrs. Jenkins will go crazy. She can't stand the things.
She'll just have to get used to him. I hope you don't keep a cat in the house.
We do. Topsy is my wife's favorite creature.
Then you'll just have to get rid of Topsy. By the way, would you like to know who did this to him?
Who? Who did it?
That one, over there. The small one, in the black dress at the head of the long table.
She's RSPCC. She's the chairwoman.
No, she's not. She's the Grand High Witch of all the world.
You mean she did it? By gad, I'll have my lawyers onto her for this. I'll make her pay through the nose.
No, I wouldn't do anything rash. That woman has magic powers. She might decide to turn you into something. A cockroach, perhaps.
Turn me into a cockroach? Oh, I'd like to see her try.
What on earth's happening, Grandmama?
Wait, keep quiet and watch.
They're shrinking, Grandmama. The witches are shrinking, just like I did.
I know they are.
It's the mouse maker. Look, some of them are growing fur on their faces. Why is it working so quickly?
Because all of them have had massive overdoses, just like you. It's thrown the alarm clock right out of whack.
Everyone in the dining room was standing up now to get a better view. People were beginning to crowd round the witches' long tables. My grandmother lifted Bruno and me up so that we wouldn't miss any of the fun. In another few seconds, all the witches had disappeared, and the tops of the two long tables were covered with small, brown mice.
It's crazy!
This can't happen.
Let's get the heck out of here, quick!
You're right.
Mice! Mice! We must get rid of the mice! Squash them flat!
It's time to go. Our work is done. Climb onto my hands, both of you. Bruno, the time has come to restore you to the bosom of your family.
My mum's not very crazy about mice.
So I noticed. She'll have to get used to you, won't she?
Get me out of here!
Ah, there is your mother. I'd recognize her voice anywhere.
There's mice everywhere! They're doing my skirts!
Here's your little boy, Mrs. Jenkins. He needs to go on a diet.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Mum.
My grandmother, with me in her hand, marched out of the room and out through the front entrance of the hotel into the open air.
Are we going home?
Yes, back to Norway.
Hooray, 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 hooray.
I thought you'd like that. Drive us to the station, please.
Yes, ma'am. Right away.
It was lovely to be back in Norway once again. But now that I was so small, everything looked different, and it took me quite a while to find my way around.
Can I ask you something, Grandmama?
Ask me anything you like, my darling.
How long does a mouse live?
I've been waiting for you to ask me that.
Well, how long do we live, us mice?
If you really want to know, I'm afraid a mouse doesn't live for a very long time.
How long?
Well, an ordinary mouse only lives for about 3 years. But you are not an ordinary mouse. You are a mouse person, and that is a very different matter.
How different? How long does a mouse person live, Grandmama?
Longer, much longer.
How much longer?
A mouse person will almost certainly live for 3 times as long as an ordinary mouse. About 9 years.
Good. That's great. It's the best news I've ever had.
Why do you say that?
Because I would never want to live longer than you. I couldn't stand being looked after by anybody else. How old are you, Grandmama?
I'm 86.
Will you live another 8 or 9 years?
With a bit of luck.
You've got to, because by then I'll be a very old mouse, and you'll be a very old grandmother, and soon after that we'll both die together.
That would be perfect.
I feel older already.
I can hear my voice sounding older as I speak.
I've noticed that.
Now that we've done away with the Grand High Witch, will all the other witches in the world gradually disappear?
I'm quite sure they won't.
But if she's not there, how are they going to get all the money they need?
When a queen bee dies, there is always another queen in the hive ready to take her place. It's the same with witches.
Oh, no. Well, that means everything we did was for nothing. Have I become a mouse for nothing at all?
We saved the children of England.
Why are you smiling, Grandmama?
I have some rather interesting news for you.
What news?
As soon as we arrived back in Norway, I made a telephone call to England.
Who in England?
To the chief of police in Bournemouth. I told him I was the chief of police for the whole of Norway, and that I was interested in the peculiar happenings that had taken place recently in the Hotel Magnificent.
So, what did you ask him?
I asked him for the name and address of the lady who had been living in room 454 in the Hotel Magnificent. The one who disappeared.
You mean the Grand High Witch?
Yes, my darling.
And did he give it to you?
Naturally, he gave it to me. One policeman will always help another policeman.
But surely the Grand High Witch wouldn't use her real name and address.
By heaven not. Nobody in the world had the faintest idea who she was, except the other witches. Even in the village where she lived, people knew her as a kindly and very wealthy baroness who gave large sums of money to charity. I've checked up on that.
And that address you got, Grandmama, must have been the secret headquarters of the Grand High Witch.
It still is.
Where is it? Tell me quick, where is it?
It is a castle. And the fascinating thing is that in that castle will be all the names and addresses of all the witches in the world.
Now, where is the castle, Grandmama? Which country? Tell me, quick.
Guess.
Norway.
Right first time. High up in the mountains, above a small village. So we have work to do, you and I. We have a great task ahead of us. Thank heavens you are a mouse. A mouse can go anywhere.
Yes, no one will ever see me. Moving about in a big castle will be child's play compared with going into a crowded kitchen full of cooks and waiters.
Oh, you could spend days there if necessary. Or you could spend weeks in that castle if you wanted to, and they'd never know you were there. I myself would get a room in the village and you could sneak out of the castle and have supper with me every night and tell me what was going on.
I could.
But your main job, of course, would be to destroy every witch in the place. That really would be the end of the whole organization.
Me? Destroy them? How could I do that?
Mousemaker? Formula 86 delayed action mousemaker all over again. You do remember the recipe, don't you?
Every bit of it. You mean we're going to make it ourselves?
Why not? If they can make it, so can we.
Who's going to climb up the tall trees to get the gruntle's eggs?
I will. There's plenty of life in this old dog yet.
Yes, I think I'd better do that part of it, Grandmama.
No, just details.
And what happens after the new Grand High Witch and everyone else in the castle have been turned into mice?
The castle will be completely empty. I shall come and join you, and...
Wait. I've just had a nasty thought. When the mousemaker turned me into a mouse, I didn't become just an ordinary mouse that you could catch with a mousetrap. I became a talking, thinking, intelligent mouse person who wouldn't go near a mousetrap. If we use the mousemaker to turn the new Grand High Witch and all the other witches in the castle into mice, the whole place will be swarming with very clever, very nasty, very dangerous, talking, thinking mouse witches. And that could be very horrible indeed.
By golly, you're right. A Grand High Witch is bad enough when she's disguised as a lady. But just think what she could do if she were a mouse. She could go anywhere.
Ha! I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer is cats. Bring on the cats!
Ha! It's brilliant! Absolutely brilliant.
Shove half a dozen cats into the castle and they'll kill every mouse in the place in 5 minutes. I don't care how clever they are. Just one thing. You've got to make absolutely sure I'm well out of the way before you put the cats in.
Oh, no, that's a promise.
What should we do after the cats have killed all the mice?
We shall go through the records and get the names and addresses of all the witches in the whole wide world.
And after that?
After that, my darling, the greatest task of all will begin for you and me. We shall pack our bags and go traveling all over the world and seek out the houses where the witches are living. Then you will creep inside and leave your little drops of deadly mousemaker in whatever food you see lying about. It will be a triumph, my darling. That will be our work for the rest of our lives. Oh, my goodness me. We're going to be busy these next few weeks and months and years.
But what fun and excitement it's going to be.
You can say that again. I can't wait to get started.